Why do we suffer at the hands of these politicians? Don't you know politicians work for you?
Hey!
You're the boss. You hire them and you fire them. Look at their campaign. You know what they do? They audition.
Yeah!
Hey everybody, it's Jerry Williams again at Talk Labor, and we're back again. And first, let me thank everybody for, I get a lot of emails with questions and stuff like that. And you don't ask questions just about one or two things. You ask questions about a lot of stuff that I happen to be involved with. One of the things I'm involved with is this election that's coming up in Chicago. You know, I can't believe what I'm seeing. I've seen a lot of things in my life. I can't believe what I'm seeing. You got a guy running saying he's going to be hell on crime. I'm talking about, what's his name, Paul Vallis. And he's going to do this and he's going to do that. And crime is the reason why I'm running. And I'm going to stop it. That's a lie. That is an outright bald-faced lie. It's not going to do anything. I'm going to show you some clips as we go along. You'll see what I'm talking about. You know, the first one I'm showing you is from 60 Minutes, and it's from 2016. You understand what I'm saying? 2016. It was going on back then, this crime. And it was awful. People have short memories. And now they try to say the crime is going up because of Lori Lightfoot. No, it's not. Like I told you before, I didn't support Lori Lightfoot, but I would have supported her over this guy here. But it wasn't going up. I want you to take a look at what was going on, and everything that I told you is true. I told you that police are not responding, purposely not responding, so that you can beg them to come and do their job. This is not something that Jerry said. This is something that 60 Minutes came up with. And I want you to look at that yourself. Take a look at it.
Once again, Chicago is making national headlines for all the wrong reasons. New York Times readers woke up to this morning's headline: Chicago tallies grim accounts of violent year. Meanwhile, 60 Minutes is set to air a comprehensive look at crime here. CBS 2's Chelsea Irving has a preview of this further scrutiny on our city.
It was truly disturbing to see a city so on the edge.
That's a big statement from veteran CBS News correspondent Bill Whitaker, who spent a week in Chicago looking into the city's violent crime epidemic.
The shooter popped out of the car and shot.
60 Minutes' most alarming find was that in the last year, while Chicago's crime rate has gone up, police activity has gone down by 80%.
Police activity is horrific, honestly, and there's not an excuse that could be made in my book.
Former police superintendent Gary McCarthy tells 60 Minutes the problems can't be overstated.
We're reaching a state of lawlessness, right? That's what's happening.
Former Chicago police officer Brian Warner says police are holding back because of the increased scrutiny on and regulation of officers.
You have a 911 call, you go to your 911 call. But if you want aggressive patrol, when you're out looking for people breaking the law, that's not happening as much as it was.
Okay, I'm back. Now you see what I mean? That was in 2016. That was before Lori Lightfoot. This was during Rahm Emanuel's time. I mean, and even before Rahm Emanuel, this was happening. These guys refused to do their job. And the reason they do it is because they want to be able to do anything they wanted to you and nothing to be said. That's what's going on. Not only in Chicago. Not only in Chicago. I want you to take a look at another place in Kentucky. What was going on with these guys? Unbelievable. The Department of Justice just did a research on this. Look at what they found.
The Department of Justice has finished now its 2-year review of the Louisville Police Department. The investigation into police practices was launched after the 2020 shooting death of Breonna Taylor. Authorities yesterday outlined systemic problems within the department, including years of discrimination. NBC News national correspondent Miguel Almaguer has details.
The scathing report from the Department of Justice unveiled a damning assessment of the Louisville Metro Police Department, saying LMPD has long engaged in a troubling pattern of discriminatory law enforcement practices. Investigators from the DOJ cited serious unlawful abuses, especially against black people.
Some officers have demonstrated disrespect for the people they are sworn to protect. Some have videotaped themselves throwing drinks at pedestrians from their cars, insulted people with disabilities, and called black people monkeys, animal, and boy. This conduct is unacceptable.
The troubling 86-page report cites uses of excessive force, unjustified neck restraints, and the unreasonable use of police dogs and tasers. Officers also conducted searches based on invalid warrants, unlawfully stopped, searched, and detained citizens, and violated the rights of people engaged in protected speech critical of policing. The U.S. Attorney General specifically cited a specialized unit originally called Viper.
The unit's activities were part of an overall enforcement approach that resulted in significant and unlawful racial disparities.
The 2-year review into LMPD was launched after the 2020 shooting death of Breonna Taylor. The botched raid in which Taylor was not a suspect helped expose what federal authorities now call a pattern or practice of conduct that deprives people of their rights.
I don't even know what to think. To know that this thing should have never happened, and that it took 3 years for anybody else to say that it shouldn't have.
The failure to protect and serve at the cost of community trust.
Okay, I'm back. Now, I like to show you in clips so that you'll know I'm not just talking out of my ears. This is why I show you the clips that I'm talking about. When you talk to people and you do research, not just he said, she said. Like, if you want to stop the crime in cities like Chicago and other cities, there's a way to do it. Take a look at what this professor from Harvard has said, and many other people have been saying this. There's a way to do it, but you don't go about it the way that these people are trying to do it. Just take a look at this.
Obviously, this is on legal merits. You make a great point there, but this is of a moment. It's of a political moment. And it's this balance of people calling for police reform, but also when crime is up in so many cities. How is that factoring in to what these individual departments are saying and trying to defend their officers' behavior?
That's a great question, Jonathan. And I think that a lot of it has to do with the sensationalized nature and how we discuss America's crime problem. First and foremost, it's important for viewers to understand that violent crime in America constitutes less than 20% of the total crime that is addressed by police. Not to mention the fact that when you're talking about crime in America, you're not talking about data-driven solutions. That is part of the issue. Our solution to crime in America is always more police. Throw more money to police. Give more money and more resources to police. That does not solve crime because that's not why crime occurs. Crime does not occur because there's an absence of police. Crime occurs because there's an absence of community with opportunity. And that's the issue. You have to invest in community, create opportunities, create things that give people alternatives that do not end up with a false sense of competition for resources that may not be available, such that these people are able to thrive and survive.
Hey, we're back again. And you see what I'm talking about. It's all there in black and white for you to see it. It's all there in black and white for you to see it. And this guy that's running for mayor, folks, think about who he is. Go back in his history. Look what the Tribune is a Republican paper. Look what they said about this man and his Twitter, where he said, well, somebody must have went in and did that in my Twitter while I wasn't looking, because I don't really do that. Yes, you do, Paul. You said it. You said everything that's in your Twitter. how you feel about Chicago and how you feel about the people. But he's been endorsed and just fed all kind of money by the Republicans because they want to stick him in there. Tried to tell you guys that. But take a look at this and you understand what I'm talking about. And with the police, you know, I'm like, all police are not criminals. But some of them are just lazy, and they're not lazy. They purposely don't want to do anything. They purposely don't want to do anything. Remember I told you years ago when I was downtown, in the studio downtown, that once you see these videos for yourself, because everybody didn't have them then, you're going to see what we're talking about. Now you see it yourself. That's what's going on, folks. That is what's going on in you. Only you can stop this. Okay, I want you to take another look. And you see what I'm talking about. Take a look at Mr. Vallis and what he did and what he said about not only, black people and people of color, what he said about women. Check it out.
The race for Chicago Mayor Paul Vallis's campaign is today responding to a new social media controversy. The Chicago Tribune found that his Facebook account liked posts that degraded Chicago, attacked Democrats, and labeled Governor Pritzker as, quote, the king of full-term abortion. This comes after the Tribune found similar activity on Vallis's Twitter.
Okay, I'm back. And I can't get to everything I want to get to because this is so ultra important. When I see people, old dudes like Jesse White out there trying to campaign for this guy, you know that Jesse's been, handled. I'm going to keep it like that, as smooth and easy as I can about Brother White. But, he's been doing this thing for a long time. He's going to do what he's told. It's up to you to decide what you want to do. And I'm not just talking about African Americans. I'm not just talking about Hispanics and other minorities. I'm talking about white also. I care just as much for white people as I do for African Americans and any other ethnic group. But I don't like to see people being railroaded like what's going on right now. I got a few things that I want to bring to your attention, bring you up to date on the lawsuit that we filed. And I'm going to do that. But and the reason I give you these clips, because I want you to see for yourself and go and check it out for yourself. See, anybody can talk, but just go and check these things out for yourself. This is why these guys want to get this guy in there. Now, he ran for all kind of everything. Governor and everything was kicked to the moon. But they found, hey, here's an opportunity. We can jump on that little Lightfoot woman and we can kill her and we can just pound her with the money and, they'll do what we tell them to do. But I'm going to tell you the truth. Well, no matter how it comes out, I'm always going to tell you the truth. I got one more clip I want to give you. And this is from a young man, a brother, his name is Tom Hartman. And he comes on at 11 o'clock every day on, I think, YouTube. He's the #1 radio personality in the country when it comes to talk radio. And he's always sharp. I've been knowing him for quite a while. I've been interviewed on his show a couple of times. Smart guy. You take a look at Tom, and he'll explain to you why A and B is right next to each other. He'll explain why 2 and 2 is 4, and you'll be able to understand this. Check this out.
Where you've got white working class people all in an uproar about the intersection of race and economics. Why? Well, first off, Reagan gutted the American white middle class. It was 65% of white people when Reagan came into office were in the middle class, and they were there with a single paycheck. Today, it's 45% of white people in the middle class, and it requires 2 paychecks. So, you've got a large chunk of the former white middle class that knows that they've been screwed. And even the white middle class knows that they've been screwed. So then comes along the Republican Party saying to them the exact same thing the Lords of the Lash were saying in the 1850s in the South, which is this is all the fault of the black people. You got to pass a law against this. We got to stop critical race theory. We got to stop teaching black history. We got to stop all this woke stuff. We got to demonize and criminalize Black Lives Matter. But at its core, it's the exact same agenda as the Confederacy, and the exact same game the Confederacy was running in the 1850s and early and 1840s. It really went on steroids in the 1850s because of all this white anger in the South over losing their jobs. And that is that all this stuff about black people is about distracting white people from the fact that they're being ripped off by white oligarchs who promote racist hatred to deflect anger from themselves. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene is essentially doing the same thing John C. Calhoun did. Meanwhile, the rich have gotten fabulously richer. Several of Americans' billionaires are today richer than any person has ever been in history, richer than the pharaohs, richer than the ancient kings of Europe, rich enough to shoot themselves into outer space with their pocket change. And where did that money come from? Well, just like the planters, the plantation owners in the 1850s, it came from rigging the system. It came from 42 years in the modern era. I mean, back then it was slavery. Today, in the modern era, it was 42 years of rigging the system with tax cuts, which have transferred $50 trillion out of the pockets of working class people into the money bins of the top 1%. And union busting policies, which have destroyed the labor movement. In the past 42 years, over 60,000 factories and 15 million good-paying union jobs have been shipped to Mexico and China, leaving working-class whites, among others, literally out in the cold. That's an explosive transition. And it's brought out oligarch-funded political demagogues to tell white working-class people that the problems are all caused by black people. And they're woke allies. I mean, this is the seditionist caucus. And I mean, they're quite serious about this. Marjorie Taylor Greene on December 10th, just 2 months ago, told a young Republican group in New York, and I quote, "I want to tell you something. If Steve Bannon and I had organized," and she's talking about that January 6th insurrection and effort to murder Vice President Pence, "if we had organized that, we would have won. Not to mention it would have been armed." Right. Pitting Americans against each other by race, by geography, or even by politics, while simultaneously invoking bloodshed. We would have been armed. As a justified outcome, this is as anti-American as it gets. This is why the 14th Amendment says no person shall be a senator or representative in Congress, quack, 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 who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid and comfort to the enemies thereof. We've got members of Congress right now who are talking about giving the footage that Kevin McCarthy gave to Fox News to the defendants in the January 6 cases. That's giving aid and comfort to the enemies thereof. These people have been convicted of sedition. Well, the ones on trial haven't been convicted yet, but you get my point. Now, if the Republican Party was really about helping anybody, we know about it. But what do they have to offer the working class? Well, so far all we've heard is that they want to gut Social Security, Medicare. They want to maintain a $7.25 minimum wage and end union rights. What do they offer women? You can go to jail if you get an abortion. What about climate change? They're still taking millions from the fossil fuel barons and denying it exists. Harmony between the races? No, they're doing everything. They're actually writing hate into law, like down in Florida. And our children? We're the only country in the world where more children are killed by bullets than any other cause. And what's their response to this crisis? They want to ban drag shows. This is absolutely nuts. We need to stop this and start taxing these billionaires and bring back labor rights for working class people.
I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. I checked what the CDC says and spoke with my doctor about the potential side effects. It definitely made me much less anxious. She told me if I have some arm pain or feel tired, that's completely normal as my body builds a defense to the virus. I was willing to take the vaccine to protect me, my family, and my friends.
Check this out. The Elonzo Hill Memorial Golf Outing. It's September 30th. But just check it out. You're going to have a lot of fun. I'll bring more information to you later on in the year. Just check it out. You understand you understand Tom? If you catch him on YouTube at 11 o'clock, or just catch him on his radio program. You can get him on WCPT every day at 11 o'clock. Also, one hell of a dude. Let me bring you up to date on the lawsuit. One of the things, I'm very satisfied as to where we are right now. You know, the judge said she would rule on the 24th of this month. There hasn't been a change yet, but I'm happy where we are. Okay, let me just leave it there. I'm happy about where we are. Don't go anywhere saying Jerry said we're gonna. No, he didn't. But you can say Jerry is happy where we are. I'm probably happier right now than I've been in quite a while. But we don't want to upset the apple cart in any kind of way. We're moving forward. And, you know, once we get this thing done, there are going to be some happy people here. Okay? All right. You all know what happened. How they, you know, we got screwed. How they just totally, you know, took advantage of some of the people that didn't know what the hell they were doing. We're not going to jump on them. What we want to do is straighten this mess out right now. Even after we straighten that out, we got some other things we got to straighten out too. I'll bring that to your attention. But here's what will happen. Once we get things in the perspective that it should be, I'm going to send out, not just me, the coalition, the CTA Pensioner Coalition, going to send out information to you, telling you where to meet us at, what to do, and why you'll be coming to meet with us. Okay? But right now, we haven't got anything. So, you know, don't go out there saying we got something, because we haven't. Okay? In the meantime, and I told you, I'm happy with where we are. And nobody would be happier than Jerry, because it's been, I filed this lawsuit 1,000 years ago. Had to fight. I got one guy that stuck with me 100% all the way. That's Brother Ronald Roach. I picked up some good guys on the way because I wanted, I filed a lawsuit on, you know, by myself. I was the only person on the lawsuit. I picked up a couple of good guys on the way because I said, hey, what happens if I kick the bucket? You know, that lawsuit goes away. No, we're not going to do that. So I added a couple of good people on there. And I love these guys. One of them passed away, Brother Cook. And the other one is alive and kicking, and that's Brother Larry Whitehead. He's on there too. So if they take Jerry out, we still got somebody on there, okay? But anyway, we're gonna do that. We're gonna be okay. And if you got any personal questions, go to talklabor@gmail.com. You know, and I'm gonna make every effort to get back to you. Okay, every effort to get back to you. We got a lot of good stuff going on. We got the golf outing coming up. We have the Infinite Scholars Program, where we give all these scholarships out to these kids, scholarship offers out to these kids. We have been responsible for a lot of money. I'm talking in the millions. These kids getting scholarships. I love it. I love it. People that know me, that have been at the fairs, they know what we're talking about. We be stuffed with kids. They come in there and they get their little scholarships and they be like, hey, it's not just some little small college. We got something like close to 800 to 900 colleges that we deal with and we're partnered with. So, you know, go into infinitescholars.org and you can see what's going on. I happen to be co-chair of infinitescholars.org. Of all the ones around every city, it's 29 cities that we service. I believe it's 29. And do I stick my chest out when I talk about it? You better believe it. But now, we're going to do this. We're going to get ready to go. And I'm going to keep you up to date. We're going to get ready to go. You'll probably hear from me again, hopefully at the 24th or before, or right after. But you will hear from me again, okay? All right, so put your ride shoes on. I want you all to support us on this scholarship program, okay? And whatever we do, if we are successful, I want you to support Brother Ronald Roach, because this man didn't have to be out there with us. He came along, started with me. He's the only one that stayed with me all this time. But you know, he couldn't make all the things that I made, but he was there. If I call, I pick up the phone, Brother Ronald Roach was there. All right, look here. Check this out. And you're going to see why I love this city, Chicago. Brother Marzette Griffith, you all know him. Very good singer. I don't know if you know, he was one of the best steppers in Chicago. Well, not just Chicago. He won the World Stepping Contest. Check it out, y'all. We'll be back probably in a week or so to talk to you again. Right now, it's like, see you.